Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the January the 19th meeting of Richmond Common Council. Would you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the January. Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rob Ross.
Here.
Kelly Cruz Nicholson.
Here.
Will Engel.
Here.
Jeff Capel.
Here.
Jeff Ross.
Here.
Gary Turner.
Here.
Jane Bungalow. Here. Ron Woolard.
Here.
And Larry Parsons.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting on January the 4th, 2021.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
there's no additions or corrections. I make a motion to approve the minutes of January 4th, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve the minutes as received for January the 4th, 2021. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes from the Board of Works and for December the 17th, 31st, and January the 7th were also included in your packet. Does anybody have any questions?
I didn't get these things this time. I just gave you.
No, some of the rest of them had to.
This came out in an email. Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Do we have any questions? Thank you. Communications from the mayor. Mr. Mayor, glad to see you back.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very happy to be back. I want to start with a couple of community calendar items. First of all, Hype of Wayne County is having a Get On Board event. If you're not familiar with Hype, it's an opportunity for young professionals in our community to get together. HYPE is an acronym for Helping Young Professionals Engage. If you navigate to their social media page, they have an event tomorrow from 5:30 to 6:30. So if you have young professionals in your environment, please encourage them to be a part of this wonderful group that helps our young professionals get together and work together. Also want to put on your calendar that coming up Friday, January 29th to Sunday the 31st, the Meltdown Winter Ice Festival is coming back to Richmond. It will look different this year. It'll be titled the Motor Meltdown. There will not be the in-person activities that we've all come to know and love, but you'll be able to still enjoy ice carvings from some of the best carvers in the world from the safety of your car with your family. So you can go to the Meltdown Winter Ice Festival webpage and learn more about what times they'll be out there and how you can see them carving live and enjoy the meltdown from your car this year. Big thanks to Reed Health for their continued partnership and other sponsors that have helped make this possible. Moving to the admin side, there was a request at our last meeting to discuss the progress on the undeveloped land on US 27 that formerly housed Reed Hospital. I won't go back too far. If anybody has any specific questions, I am happy to answer those. I will start at present day. What we are waiting on at this point is Reed Health has been in discussions with the state for quite a while about delineating the areas that will need remediation work and monitoring. After deciding what areas need that monitoring and remediation work, then it moves to actually doing it. On December 2nd, the Army Corps of Engineers was present on the site, getting ready to do some of that work. So they are moving into that work phase. And so once that work is completed, it will inform the environmental restrictive covenants that will end up on the site that we've been talking about since even before the demolition happened. And that environmental restrictive covenants will further inform the future development of the site. So that's where we are today, and always happy to answer questions on that. You know, I'll just pause there. Does anybody have any questions there before I move to my next subject?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to know, is there, I've always been under the impression there was not a lot of remediation needed. Is that changed at all?
I can't speak to the amount of remediation. That would be a conversation between the state and Reed Health, but I think they've made their determinations on what they need to do, and so now they're finally moving into actually getting it done. And again, that will inform the ERC once they get into that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. Moving into my final subject here, I want to thank our Wayne County Health Department Director, Christine Stinson, for joining us this evening. There was a question at our last meeting about vaccine rollout. I did not want to attempt to convey that information to you. Christine is an expert on that subject, and I really appreciate her taking the time to come to this meeting tonight and talk to us about that. And so I'm going to yield some of my time to her and allow her to tell us about vaccine rollout, what's happening now, and what we can expect in the next couple of months. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Like you said, I'm Christine Stinson, the director of the Wayne County Health Department. Our vaccine rollout has started. So we're one full week into it, and beginning the first couple of days of the second week, we started with the group of 80 and older, and quickly then moved into the group 70 and older. So right now, who is meeting the criteria for vaccination are first responders, any healthcare worker, and then persons over the age of 70. I don't know when the state will allow the next group to come in. The next group we've been told is 60 and under. They still haven't factored in any of those persons living with comorbidities. That isn't to say that we're not concerned about them, and that all of us don't agree that that's a priority. Wayne County was allotted 200 doses the first week. We quickly scheduled those. The state then gave us 400 more doses. And so now we're doing 600 doses a week at our site. So again, if anyone's a first responder, a healthcare worker, or over the age of 70, you can go to ourshot.in.gov and schedule an appointment. Whenever they open that site up, or open the next group and invite the next group to come in, that site quickly gets overwhelmed. And they do have a way to put people in waiting rooms on that site, and people will wait an hour and a half. I encourage people, don't go at those peak times. Maybe wait until 5 o'clock to jump on it, because you'll just spend the day being very, very frustrated. Same with the 211. Anyone that doesn't have an internet connection or is having problems navigating the site, you can call 211. I encourage you not to dial during the peak times, or you will be frustrated. At a very last resort, always call the health department. We do have people that are volunteering, and we'll take your name and phone number, and we'll call one of our volunteers, and they'll call you and get that. It's hard for us to do because we like to vet our volunteers to make sure that we're not sending people into, giving just anybody people's phone numbers to call, and they're a trusted source, the health department. And I want us to be a trusted source. So I do have a limited number of volunteers that I trust to get that call number to. But we'll assist in any way. We're doing roughly between 100 and 140 shots a day at the health department. It's running very, very smooth. We could definitely do more. I've told the state. I've showed them pictures. I've showed them we have a lot of room to expand, and I want to thank the city for the support of us using the Elder Beerman building. I think it's been a tremendous site for all of this for the community. The testing site worked out very, very well there, and now having the vaccine, they're totally separate. If you come into west doors, you'll be in the testing site. If you come in the south doors, you'll be in the vaccination site. Both sites are running very, very smoothly. Any questions about the vaccine rollout?
I have one if I may.
Yeah.
What if someone has already been tested positive for COVID and they've got over COVID, but they still want to be vaccinated? Is there a waiting period that they have to go through before they do that?
That's a really good question. And they've said if you want to delay it for 90 days, that's appropriate. But as long as you're out of your isolation period, so the isolation period, the mayor can go over all of that very, very well, but it's at least 10 days. And then you have to be symptom-free or a vast resolve of your symptoms, and fever-free for at least 24 hours. So if you're out of your isolation period, you meet that criteria, you can get vaccinated.
Thank
you. Are teachers being given any consideration for testing?
Teachers are being,
vaccines?
Yeah, teachers are definitely being considered. The state has not called them forward. They are part of 1B. 1B is a huge group of people. A humongous group of people. and teachers have not been called forward. However, we want to be a zero wastage clinic. So none of our doses will ever be wasted. We will find someone to give that dose to. And the best way to do that is to have a standby list. For example, tonight I had 3 doses that, people miss an appointment. And the state has also now allowed us, if we have that 11th dose in our vial, if we can get a full dose out of there, it's bonus dose. And so we had 3 doses at the end of tonight, and we have a list of standby people. We quickly went through our first list of those, and then we reached out to the schools and we said any teacher that would like to be on the standby list and can get to the health department within 30 minutes of that phone call. We'll take their name and phone number. We just have a list that we go down. But we did see teachers as being one of those targeted groups that we should target to get out. Doesn't mean that we value them more than the electrical workers or the food service workers or the plant workers. It's just a way of us being able to systematically bring people in. The call down list, if you open it up to everyone, before you know it, you have 2,000 people, on a call down list. So we needed a way to narrow and target that. And so we were asked if teachers could do that. So we did the teachers on the standby list.
I have a question. Okay, I do home health care and I work independently with that count, or do I need to work for someone like from hospital or something?
Yeah, you have to work for a home health agency.
Okay, right. And then I want to thank you for I went in for a COVID test after I'm married.
Yeah.
And you had boxes of masks sitting there. I want to tell you, I appreciate it because I have different people that go to their homes and some of them have been reusing masks. And I've been able to.
Yep. Those free masks were provided by the commissioners.
Okay.
And so we always have boxes of masks for people. They can also pick up masks at the health department at any time. No appointment. Anytime we're open, if someone needs masks, please think about coming to the health department because we're glad to give those out and the commissioners have provided us with all of those.
Thank you, commissioners.
Yeah.
What company is producing ours?
So the health department has Moderna.
Okay,
And that's all we'll get. But Reed also has a community testing site. So if people can't get an appointment at ours, because we're getting a lot fewer doses than Reed. Reed has a community site that's out at the fairgrounds now. So they opened today out there. And I believe they have Pfizer. And I don't know if they'll have both. I've heard that they're going to go strictly with Pfizer.
I got my burner out there today.
Did you? Okay. So, but anyone, if you qualify for a vaccine, if you're part of that criteria group, you can choose to go to the health department. And if you go there and it's going to be, the middle of February, I encourage you to go to the Reed, and it says Reed Coleman Center. And choose that. It's a great resource for Wayne County because it's a regional site. It's set up to handle Wayne, Randolph, Fayette, and Union counties, but it's right in our backyard. So that's a way for us to have more doses here. And I want as many people to get that vaccine as can. And it's great for us to have all of those doses right here in our county.
Are both of these the 2-part?
Right, both Pfizer and Moderna are 2-dose vaccines, and both of them are under the emergency use authorization. Moderna is 28 days in between both doses, and Pfizer is 21 days. When you come in for whether you come to the Reed site or the health department site, before you leave, you'll have your appointment for your second dose. So it kind of takes that frustration out of getting on there and jockeying with everyone to try to get that calculation. Both of our sites make sure that you have that dose or that scheduled before you walk out.
And both of those are through the R shot Indians.
Yep.
Okay.
OUR.
And then you just pick which location.
Then you just pick which
Okay.
location.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to thank Christine for taking time to come over. I know she has to to leave out of here quickly because she's very busy, but I can't say enough great things.
I just gotta
about her.
get the vaccine back over to the other place. So.
Her and her team have been fantastic throughout the year and even taking the time tonight, so thank you. Christina. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you guys. It's nice to meet everybody.
And
Thank you for coming.
stay safe.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
And Mr. President, unless anyone has any questions for me, that will conclude my comments.
Any questions for the mayor? Hearing none, ordinances on first reading.
Mr. President,
Mr. Locke.
make a motion, we read ordinances 1, 2021, 2, 2021, 3, 2021, 4, 2021 by title only.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to read ordinances 121, 221, 321, 421 by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Ordinance number 1, 2021, a special ordinance extending unused leave time permitted by the federal emergency paid sick leave act.
Thank you.
Good evening. Emily Palmer, City Controller. Initial provisions for access to emergency paid sick leave as it pertains to the COVID-19 outbreak were passed by the United States Congress and the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. This provided 10 days or up to 80 hours of emergency paid sick leave to employees who were diagnosed or exposed to COVID-19 or to employees who were caring for either someone under quarantine or a child whose school or child care provider were unavailable due to COVID-19. These provisions expired as of December 31st, 2020. Ordinance 1, 2021 is an ordinance extending unused paid sick leave to unused paid sick leave coverage to city employees through March 31st, 2021.
Are there any questions? Finance Committee has met on this ordinance and feel like that it's appropriate to pass this tonight if that's the council's pleasure. What is council's pleasure for ordinance 1, 2021?
Mr. President. to approve.
Second.
Have a motion to approve ordinance 1, 2021. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Is that to approve or just need a second?
If we probably should have moved this thing to all three ways.
I'll just say that.
Let's call that second.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Ordinance number 1, 2021, a special ordinance extending unused leave time permitted by the federal emergency paid sick leave act.
Ordinance 1, 2021 is on second reading, which is public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor or opposition to this? I don't see anything else on the screen from any Zoom. We've not received any phone calls.
Move to Gross.
Second.
Have a motion to second to engross. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'm assuming that was called. So we just vote.
If someone calls for the question, yes.
Call to question.
Second.
Second.
Call for the question and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Kelly Cruz Nicholson,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Jeff Kappa,
Aye.
Jeff Locke,
Aye.
Gary Turner,
Aye.
Jane Barbaro,
Aye.
Ron Oliver,
Aye.
and Larry Barker.
Aye.
All are in favor.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Ordinance number 2, 2021, a special ordinance authorizing the city of Richmond to receive donations for Richmond Fire Department programs.
Finance Committee is also met for this and feels like it can be passed in its entirety tonight. Who's speaking for this tonight?
Jared Patel, Chief of the Richmond Fire Department.
Thank you, sir.
President Parker, honorable council members, the Richmond Fire Department respectfully requests your consideration of ordinance number 2, 2021. This is an ordinance allowing the Richmond Fire Department to receive and accept donations. Donations have played an important role in our department through the years. They have helped with our special teams, helped in obtaining state-of-the-art special equipment, and supported additional educational facilities and programs. I want to thank you in advance for consideration of this ordinance.
Any questions of the chief? Hearing none, what's council's pleasure?
Mr. President,
Mr. Goss.
I move that we suspend the rules and advance ordinance 2/2021 to second reading
Second.
and read by title only.
Have a motion and a second to advance ordinance 2/2021 to second reading, read by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ordinance number 2/2021 is hard for me to say tonight. Is on second reading and public hearing. Again, we have nobody on Zoom and we have not received any phone calls. What is council's pleasure?
Move to engross.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to engross ordinance 2/2021. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Valerie Cruz Nicholson,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Jeff Kappa,
Aye.
Jeff Locke,
Aye.
Gary Turner,
Aye.
Jane Bungalow,
Aye.
Ron Oler,
Aye.
Larry Parker,
Aye.
all in favor.
Motion carried.
Ordinance number 3/2021, an appropriation ordinance amending ordinance number 47, 2020, known as the 2021 salary ordinance.
Good evening, Emily Palmer, City Controller. Ordinance 3/2021 is amendment to ordinance 47, 2020, the civilian salary ordinance. The Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1474 contract was signed after ordinance 47, 2020 went to council last year and was approved. The new contract has been signed and it agrees to a 2% salary increase for all transit bus drivers for 2021. This salary increase was accounted for in our budget calculations and no additional appropriations are necessary to cover this expense. Amending the salary ordinance is the only housekeeping that needs to be done related to that.
Thank you. Any questions from council? What is council's pleasure? Mr. Goss,
I move that we suspend the rules and advance ordinance 3/2021 to second reading, read by title only.
Second.
have a motion and a second to suspend the rules on ordinance 3/2021 and move to second reading. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Ordinance number 3/2021, an appropriation ordinance amending ordinance number 47, 2021 is the 2021 salary ordinance.
Any final comments? Please call the roll. We have to have a motion to vote, okay.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Valerie Cruz Nicholson,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Jeff Kappa,
Aye.
Jeff Locke,
Aye.
Gary Turner,
Aye.
Jane Bungalow,
Aye.
Ron Oler,
Aye.
Larry Parker,
Aye.
all in favor.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 4/2021, an appropriation ordinance authorizing the submittal, acceptance, and appropriation of a grant from the Indiana Department of Transportation.
Mr. Steen.
Greg Steens, Director of Public Works and Engineering. The Indiana Department of Transportation is accepting applications for state funds to assist in local street paving projects. The state of Indiana will contribute up to 50% of the cost. There are 5 roads included in the grant application. They are Fort Wayne Avenue from North 5th Street to North 7th Street, North B Street, Richmond Avenue Bridge to Fort Wayne Avenue, North 5th Street from North A Street to North B Street, West Main Street from the Main Street Bridge to Northwest 5th Street, and South 5th Street from South A to South G Street. 2 of these roads lead into the TIF district. That's why that makes them qualify for TIF funds. The total estimated cost to rehabilitate these 5 roads is $361,020. NDOT would fund 50% of the cost, the $180,510. And the city's proposed match of $180,500 will come from TIF funds. And the grant application is due January 29th.
Any questions, Mr. Steen? Finance Committee has also met on this and recommends that it can be passed in all 3 readings tonight. I have a question, Mr. Steen. This is only for streets, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. What is
Mr.
count-
President,
Mr. Goss?
I move that we suspend the rules and advance ordinance 4/2021 to second reading, read by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and second to suspend the rules and advance ordinance 4/2021 to second reading, read by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Ordinance 4/2021 is on public reading. We have nobody on Zoom and we have not received any phone calls.
Move for engrossment.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to engross ordinance 4/2021. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Call for the question.
Second.
Have a call for the question and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Call the roll.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Sally Cruz Nicholson,
Aye.
Roland Roll,
Aye.
Jeff Papa,
Aye.
Jeff Law,
Aye.
Jerry Turner,
Aye.
Jane Bumble,
Aye.
Ron Moore,
Aye.
Larry Butler.
Aye.
All in favor.
Motion carried. For your information, the amended interlocal agreement for the sharing of costs is also on here. Now, AJ, do you have anything to bring us up to date on that?
No, nothing. In addition to the nature of our last discussion, I continue to work with county representatives to try to iron out some of the confusion and get our details in place so we can get this signed. And I hope to have additional information for the next meeting. But both parties decided that this needs to happen early in the new year. So it's on the agenda about this.
Thank you. Any questions of AJ?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
Have a motion second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you.
Peace out.
I know you-
Oh, that's it?
Maybe say, right there. Yeah, take care.
I've never heard of that problem. So if I see it.
Thank you.
Yeah.